The stars looked beautiful through the window of the diplomatic ship. Captain Minho Kang stood on the bridge, watching Earth grow larger on the screen. His ship, the Harmony, was returning home after 3 months of peaceful talks with the nearby colony worlds. Everything had gone well. Everything was quiet. Too quiet, perhaps. "Captain," said Lieutenant Una Park, looking up from her station, "we're picking up something strange." Minho walked over to her console. Una was the ship's science officer, and she rarely worried about small things. If she said something was strange, it mattered. "What is it?" he asked. Una pointed at her screen. "Large energy signatures. Very large. Coming from beyond the moon's orbit." Minho felt his stomach tighten. "How large?" "At least 500 ships, sir." "Maybe more." The bridge went silent. Everyone stopped what they were doing. 500 ships was not a trading fleet. It was not a group of explorers. It was an invasion force. "Get me Earth Command," Minho said quietly. "Right now." The communication officer worked fast. Within seconds, a calm voice filled the bridge. "This is Earth Command. We see them too, Captain Kang. Return to Earth immediately. Do not engage." "Who are they?" Minho asked. "Velcrons," the voice answered. "The Velcron Dominion. They've been watching us for months." Minho knew about the Velcrons. Everyone did. They were conquerors. They had destroyed 12 civilizations in the past 50 years. They took worlds, stripped them of resources, and enslaved whoever survived. They were ruthless, powerful, and they never lost. "Are we evacuating?" Minho asked. There was a pause. Then the voice from Earth Command said something that made no sense. "No, Captain. No evacuation. Just come home." The communication ended. Minho stared at the screen. No evacuation. Earth had 8 billion people. How could they not evacuate? "Sir," said the navigation officer, "the Velcran fleet is moving. They're spreading out around Earth." Minho watched as the sensors showed the enemy ships taking positions. They surrounded the planet like a net. Every escape route was blocked. It was a standard invasion formation. The Velcrans had done this many times before. The Harmony slipped past the fleet without trouble. The Velcrans ignored the small diplomatic ship. They had bigger targets to worry about. As Minho's ship entered Earth's atmosphere, he looked at the planet below. Cities glowed in the darkness. Lights everywhere. Millions of people going about their lives. They had no idea what was coming. Or did they? When the Harmony landed, Minho was surprised. The spaceport was busy, but not panicked. People walked normally. Children laughed. Nobody was running. Nobody was screaming. It was like any other day. A car waited for Minho outside the landing pad. The driver smiled at him. "Welcome home, Captain. Earth Command wants to see you right away." The drive through the city felt wrong. Minho kept expecting to see fear. He expected soldiers in the streets, people gathering supplies, families saying goodbye. Instead, he saw people having coffee, shopping, walking their dogs. "Don't they know?" Minho said out loud. The driver glanced at him in the mirror. "Know what, sir?" "The Velcrans, the invasion fleet." The driver smiled. It was a strange smile, calm, almost amused. "Oh, we know, Captain. Everyone knows." Earth Command was a large building in the center of the city. Minho had been there many times, but never like this. He expected chaos, war rooms, generals shouting orders. Instead, the halls were quiet. People worked at their desks. Someone was even humming a song. A woman met Minho at the elevator. She was young, maybe 30, with short black hair and sharp eyes. "Captain Kang, I'm Commander Gina Cho. Please follow me." She led him to a meeting room. Inside, several people sat around a table. They looked relaxed. One of them was drinking tea. "Sit down, Captain," Gina said. "We need to brief you." Minho sat, but he couldn't stay quiet. Why isn't anyone panicking? The Velcrans are here. They're going to attack. Gina poured herself some tea. Yes, they are. In about 43 hours, according to our calculations. Then why, Captain, Gina interrupted gently, do you know what the Velcrans see when they look at Earth? Minho shook his head. They see a peaceful world, Gina continued. They see a few space stations, some mining operations in the asteroid belt, a couple of satellites, no weapons platforms, no defense fleet. They see an easy target. Because that's what we are, Minho said. Gina smiled that same strange smile the driver had. Is it? Before Minho could answer, a screen on the wall lit up. It showed the Velcran flagship, a huge ship, dark and covered in weapons. On the screen, an alien appeared. It had 4 arms, gray skin, and eyes like black glass. People of Earth, the alien said. Its voice was deep and cold. I am War Prince Threxus of the Velcran Dominion. Your planet is now under our control. You have 48 hours to surrender. Gather your leaders. Prepare to obey. If you resist, we will destroy your cities one by one. If you cooperate, some of you may survive as workers for the Dominion. You have no choice. Resistance is death. Think carefully. The message ended. Nobody in the room looked worried. Gina took another sip of her tea. The man next to her checked his watch. Should we send a response? Someone asked. Gina nodded. Yes, the standard one. A communications officer typed something quickly. Then she looked up. Sent, Commander. Minho couldn't take it anymore. What did you send them? Gina turned to him. We invited them to a meeting, diplomatic talks. We asked if they needed any supplies, water, fuel, that sort of thing. We were very polite. But they're invading us. Yes, Gina said calmly. They are. Minho felt like he was going crazy. We need to fight back. We need to warn people. We need to... Captain, Gina said quietly, do you trust your government? Minho stopped. Did he? He had served Earth for 15 years. He had never seen corruption, never seen cruelty. Earth's government was peaceful, fair, and honest. He nodded slowly. Then trust us now, Gina said. Everything is under control. Over the next day, Minho watched the situation develop. The Velcrans rejected Earth's offer to talk. They sent more threats. They destroyed an empty space station as a demonstration. Earth responded with more polite messages, more offers to negotiate. The Velcrans thought Earth was scared. Minho could see it in their transmissions. They thought humans were weak, pathetic, begging for mercy. But the people at Earth Command didn't look scared. They looked like they were waiting for something. On the second day, with only 24 hours left before the deadline, Earth sent one final message to the Velcran fleet. Minho was in the command center when it happened. He watched as Gina herself recorded the message. Her voice was still calm, still polite, but there was something else in it now, something hard. War Prince Threxus, she said, we have considered your demands. We must respectfully decline. You have 24 hours to leave our solar system. Take your ships and go. This is your only warning. We strongly advise you to leave now. The message was sent. In the Velcran flagship, Minho imagined, they were probably laughing. A warning? From Earth? From a planet with no defenses? But Gina didn't look like she was joking. She looked at the clock on the wall and nodded to herself. 23 hours and 59 minutes, she said quietly. Someone brought her more tea. Minho realized something then, something that made his skin go cold. Everyone in this room knew something he didn't. They had a plan, a secret, and whatever it was about to happen. He looked at the screen showing the Velcran fleet. 500 warships, all of them ready to destroy Earth, all of them confident, all of them certain of victory, and somewhere out there, in the darkness of space, something was waiting. Something the Velcrans hadn't seen yet, something they would never forget. War Prince Threxes sat on his command throne and laughed. The sound echoed through the bridge of his flagship. His officers joined him, their voices mixing into a chorus of mockery. "They warn us," Threxes said, his four arms spread wide. "These humans warn the Velcran Dominion?" His tactical officer, a veteran of 30 conquests, shook his head. "They are desperate, War Prince. They have no weapons. Our scans show nothing. A few orbital platforms, some civilian transports. They are helpless." Threxes stood up. He was massive, nearly 3 meters tall, covered in the scars of countless battles. He had never lost. Not once. "Send a message to the human government. Tell them their time for warnings is over. We will demonstrate our power, destroy their colony on Mars." The weapons officer hesitated. "War Prince, there are civilians there, scientists, children." "Exactly," Threxes said coldly. "Let Earth watch their people die. Then they will understand." The orders went out. 10 Velcran warships turned toward Mars, their weapons powered up. Energy readings spiked across every scanner. But something strange happened. On Mars, alarms rang through the research colony. 2,000 people lived there, scientists studying the Red Planet, families, teachers, ordinary people. They had 12 minutes before the Velcran weapons would fire. A calm voice came over the colony's speakers. "This is Earth Command. Evacuation Protocol 7. All personnel to the shelters. Move quickly, but do not run. You have 11 minutes. The people of Mars colony didn't panic. They walked quickly to marked doors. Parents carried children. Scientists helped the elderly. Within 8 minutes, everyone was inside the underground shelters. Then the shelters started moving. Threxes watched his tactical display. He saw the shelters sink deeper into Mars. But they weren't just going down. They were going sideways, fast, impossibly fast. "What are they doing?" he demanded. "Unknown, War Prince," his officer said. "They're using some kind of underground transport system. We didn't know it was there." "Where are they going?" The officer worked his controls frantically. They're gone, War Prince. We've lost them," Threxes growled. "Fire anyway. Destroy the buildings." The Velcran ships fired. Brilliant beams of energy struck the Mars colony. Buildings exploded, domes shattered. The entire settlement was destroyed in seconds, but no one died. The shelters were already far away, deep under the Martian surface, in tunnels the Velcrans hadn't detected. On Earth, Commander Gina Cho watched the destruction of Mars colony on her screen. She checked her watch. 15 hours left, she said to no one in particular. Captain Minho stood beside her. "They're going to attack Earth next." "Yes," Gina agreed. "Probably in a few hours. Threxes will want to prove his strength." "And we're just going to let him?" Gina looked at Minho. Her eyes were calm. "Captain, do you know what the greatest weapon in war is?" Minho thought about it. "Firepower? Numbers?" "Surprise," Gina said softly. "The enemy thinks they know everything about us. They think we're weak. That makes them careless. Careless enemies make mistakes." An hour later, Threxes sent another message to Earth. His face filled every screen on the planet. "You saw Mars," he said. "That is your future. Surrender now, or your cities will burn." Earth's response came from a young woman named Hana Kim. She was a communications officer, barely 25 years old. She looked directly at the camera and spoke in a friendly voice. "War Prince Threxes, we appreciate your concerns. However, we must decline your offer. You now have 14 hours to leave our solar system. Please consider this carefully." Threxes stared at the message in disbelief. "Are they insane?" he roared. "Do they not understand what we will do to them?" His science officer spoke up nervously. "War Prince, we're detecting some unusual energy readings." "From where?" "Everywhere, sir. Small spikes all over the solar system. Near Jupiter. in the asteroid belt, even close to the sun. It's almost like what? Threxus snapped. Like something is interfering with our sensors. But that's impossible. Humans don't have that technology. Threxus dismissed it with a wave. Sensor errors. We're too close to their sun. Adjust the scanners. But the errors didn't stop. They got worse. On Earth, a man named Taman Seo climbed into his ship. It looked like a normal civilian transport. Boxy, slow, unarmed. He launched from a spaceport in Asia and headed toward the Velcran fleet. Threxus watched the small ship approach. Is that a transport? Yes, War Prince. Civilian vessel. One pilot. No weapons. Destroy it, Threxus ordered. Show these humans what happens to fools. A Velcran destroyer fired a warning shot. The beam was designed to cut through steel like paper. It hit Taman's ship directly, and the ship didn't even slow down. Threxus leaned forward. What happened? The ship has shields, War Prince. Very powerful shields. We've never seen this technology before. Impossible. Our scans showed no military vessels. The scans were correct, sir. This ship appears civilian, but it has military-grade defensive systems. Systems beyond our technology. Threxus felt something he hadn't felt in years. A small seed of doubt. Taman's voice came over the communication channel. He sounded almost bored. Velcran flagship, this is civilian transport. Morning light. You fired on an unarmed vessel. That's against galactic law. Please don't do it again. You have shields, Threxus shouted. Of course I have shields, Taman replied. Everyone has shields, don't you? Oh, wait, I see your ships do. Good. Safety is important. The communication ended. Taman's ship continued on its path, flying casually past the Velcran fleet, completely unharmed. Threxus turned to his officers. I want a full sensor sweep. Everything. Every satellite, every station, every ship. Find out what the humans are hiding. The Velcrans scanned everything, and they found nothing. No hidden weapons, no secret fleet, no defense platforms, but their sensors kept glitching. Random energy spikes, strange readings that appeared and disappeared. Space itself seemed to shimmer in certain areas. It's solar radiation, one officer suggested. It's magnetic interference, said another. Nobody suggested the truth, that something massive was hiding from them, something their sensors couldn't see. Back on Earth, Minho confronted Gina in her office. That transport had shields, he said. Military shields. Why didn't our intelligence reports mention that? Gina looked up from her desk. Because we don't advertise our capabilities, Captain. Would you tell a burglar about your security system before he breaks in? So we do have defenses. We have many things, Gina said carefully. But the Velcrans don't need to know that yet. When will they know? Gina checked her watch again. In about 9 hours. Maybe less if Threxus is impatient. Threxus was impatient. 6 hours before his deadline, he gave the order to begin the attack. Target the largest city on Earth. Fire 1 shot. Kill 1 million humans. Then they will beg to surrender. His weapons officer looked uncomfortable but obeyed. The flagship's main cannon began to charge. Energy built up. The weapon could destroy a mountain. It would erase a city in seconds. The cannon fired, and then everything changed. Alarms screamed across every Velcran ship at once. Proximity alerts, collision warnings, threat detection systems all triggered simultaneously. Threxus jumped from his throne. What is happening? Ships! His tactical officer screamed. Ships everywhere! They're decloaking! On the main screen, space itself seemed to tear open. Shimmers became shapes, shadows became solid, and suddenly, where there had been empty space, there were warships. Hundreds of them. They appeared between Earth and the incoming weapon blast. The largest ship, a massive dreadnought, simply absorbed the shot. The energy hit its shields and scattered harmlessly into space. Threxus stared in horror. The human fleet surrounded his ships. They had appeared in perfect formation, every escape route blocked, every Velcran vessel targeted, and they were huge. Each human dreadnought was twice the size of his flagship. Their weapons were already powered up. Their shields glowed with energy readings that should have been impossible. A transmission came through. A human voice, male, calm, professional. Velcran Fleet, this is Admiral Hyun Lee of the United Earth Command 1st Deep Space Fleet. You have fired upon Earth. That was a mistake. You have 30 seconds to power down all weapons and surrender. This is your final warning. Threxes couldn't speak. His throat had gone dry. Behind the closest human ship, he could see dozens more. And behind those, hundreds. How many ships did Earth have? How long had they been hiding there? How had the Velcrans missed an entire fleet? His tactical officer's voice shook. War Prince, our sensors never detected them. They have stealth technology we can't even measure. And their power readings. These ships shouldn't be possible. Threxes found his voice. How many? At least 300 vessels in immediate range, but we're detecting more, many more, throughout the entire solar system. 500? More, War Prince, much more. And that's when Threxus understood. He hadn't come to conquer a weak planet. He had flown his fleet into a trap. Earth wasn't defenseless. Earth had been waiting. Admiral Hyun Lee stood on the bridge of the Eternal Vigilance and watched the Velcron fleet scramble. Their ships tried to reform, tried to find a defensive position, but there was nowhere to go. Human warships surrounded them completely. Hyun was 70 years old. His hair was gray, his face lined with age, but his eyes were sharp and clear. He had been preparing for this moment for 30 years. Lieutenant Nam, he said quietly. Status report. Lieutenant Sora Nam worked her console with quick fingers. She was young, barely 30, but she was the best tactical officer in the fleet. All ships in position, Admiral. The Velcran fleet is surrounded. They're trying to target us, but their weapon systems are confused by our ECM. Good. Keep jamming their communications. I don't want them coordinating. Yes, sir. Hyun watched the main screen. The Velcran flagship sat in the center of their formation. He could imagine the panic inside, could picture War Prince Threxus trying to understand what had happened. Open a channel, Hyun said. Let me talk to him. Sora worked her controls. Channel open, Admiral. Hyun's face appeared on the screen of every Velcran ship. He looked calm, almost friendly. War Prince Threxus, I believe we need to have a conversation. Threxus appeared on Hyun's screen. The alien looked shaken. His 4 arms trembled slightly. Who are you? Where did these ships come from? I am Admiral Hyun Lee, commander of the 1st Deep Space Fleet. As for where we came from, we've been here all along. You just couldn't see us. Impossible! We scanned the entire solar system. Hyun smiled slightly. Yes, you did. And you found exactly what we wanted you to find. A few satellites, some mining operations. A peaceful, defenseless planet. You were hiding? We were being polite, Hyun corrected. When a stranger comes to your home, you don't greet them with weapons. You wait to see what they want. If they're friendly, you welcome them. If they're hostile, he gestured at the fleet surrounding the Velcrans. You show them the door. Threxes tried to sound confident. You cannot defeat the Velcran Dominion. We have conquered 12 civilizations. Our empire spans 50 systems. Even if you destroy this fleet, more will come. Will they? Hyun asked. Let me show you something. He nodded to Sora. The young lieutenant pressed a button. On every screen, a holographic display appeared. It showed the solar system, but not the way the Velcrans had seen it. This showed the truth. Around Earth, dozens of massive stations floated in orbit. They had been invisible before, hidden by stealth fields. In the asteroid belt, what looked like mining operations were actually shipyards. huge construction facilities building more warships. Near Jupiter, a fleet of carriers waited. Each one held hundreds of fighters. Near Saturn, weapon platforms bristled with enough firepower to destroy a planet. Even near the Sun, where the heat should make it impossible, human ships waited. "This is what you didn't see," Hyun said. "This is what we built. This is what we became." Threxes stared at the display. "But, our intelligence. We watched you for months. You seemed so peaceful, so weak." "We are peaceful," Hyun said. "That doesn't mean we're weak." A new voice joined the conversation. It was Dr. Yuna Park calling from Earth. She appeared on another part of the screen. "War Prince Threxes. May I explain something?" Threxes looked at her. "Who are you?" "I'm a xenobiologist. I study alien cultures. I've been studying yours for quite some time." "Studying us?" "Yes." "We've had observers in Velcron space for 20 years. Did you never wonder why so many humans joined your empire as workers, scientists, merchants?" Threxes felt cold. "Those were refugees, people fleeing Earth's poverty." Yuna smiled. "Earth has no poverty, War Prince. Those were intelligence agents, every one of them. They watched you, learned your technology, reported your expansion plans. We knew you would come here eventually. You always expand toward resource-rich systems. Earth's solar system has everything you want." You spied on us for 20 years?" "We spied on everyone," Yuna said simply. "The Velcrans, the Korthan Empire, the Cillian Collective, every major power in this part of the galaxy. We wanted to know who our neighbors were, what they were capable of, whether they would be friends or threats." Threxes understood now. Humanity hadn't been ignorant of the galaxy. They had been studying it, learning from it, preparing. "Why didn't you reveal yourselves?" he demanded. "Why hide?" Hyun answered that question. "Because peace is fragile, War Prince. If we had shown our strength from the beginning, every empire would have seen us as a threat. There would have been wars, alliances against us. Millions would have died. So we chose a different path. We appeared weak, harmless, not worth bothering." "But you were building all this," Threxes said, gesturing at the fleet. "Yes, because appearing peaceful doesn't mean being stupid. We hoped we'd never need these ships. We hoped the galaxy would leave us alone. We were wrong." An engineer's voice joined the conversation. His name was Dong-hae Yoon, and he was the chief engineer of the Eternal Vigilance. "War Prince, may I show you something?" Dong-hae asked. Before Threxes could answer, data began flooding the Velcran computers. Technical specifications, energy readings, weapon system details. Dong-hae explained each one. "Your ships use fusion reactors for power. We use zero-point energy. Your weapons are plasma-based. Ours manipulate gravity itself. Your shields can withstand temperatures up to 3 million degrees. Ours can absorb a direct hit from a star." "Impossible," Threxes whispered. 150 years ago, Dong-hae continued, humanity created artificial intelligence, true AI. It was brilliant, creative, powerful, and then it decided humans were a threat. The war that followed nearly destroyed us. 3 billion people died. Our cities burned. We were almost extinct. You fought machines, and we won, but barely. That war taught us something important. We learned that being peaceful wasn't enough. We learned that we needed to be strong, strong enough that nothing could ever threaten our existence again. So we took the technology from the war, the AI weapons, the advanced physics, the quantum computing, and we built this." He gestured at the fleet. "We built a military that could face any threat, any enemy, and then we hid it, because we didn't want to fight. We wanted to live in peace." "But you were ready for war," Threxes said. "Always," Dong-hae confirmed. "From the moment the AI war ended, we were ready. Lieutenant Sora spoke up from her console. "Admiral, the Velcran ships are trying to charge their weapons." Hyun sighed. "War Prince, please don't. You cannot win this fight. Your weapons are centuries behind ours. Your shields won't hold against our firepower. If we wanted you dead, you would already be dead." Threxus didn't believe him. Or perhaps his pride wouldn't let him believe. "Fire!" he ordered. "All ships, destroy the closest human vessel!" 500 Velcran ships opened fire at once. Energy beams, missiles, kinetic rounds, everything they had. The human ship they targeted was a heavy cruiser named Thunder's Answer. Its shields absorbed the entire attack. The energy splashed against the shield barrier like rain against a window. Not a single shot penetrated. "Return fire," the captain of the Thunder's Answer said calmly. "Demonstration protocols, non-lethal." A single shot came from the human cruiser. It wasn't a weapon blast. It was a graviton pulse, a wave of controlled gravity that washed over the Velcran flagship. Threxes felt his ship stop. The engines were still running. Power was still on. But the ship couldn't move. It was frozen in space, held by forces his science couldn't explain. "What have you done?" he screamed. Hyun's voice was patient. "We've disabled your movement. Your crew is fine, your ship is fine, but you can't escape. And in approximately 4 minutes, every one of your ships will be in the same condition, unable to move, unable to fight, but alive." "You're going to kill us anyway," Threxes said bitterly. "No," Hyun said. "We're going to let you go, but first, you need to understand what happened here." Over the next 4 minutes, the human fleet demonstrated their capabilities. Ship after ship was frozen in place by graviton pulses. Weapons systems were disabled by electromagnetic bursts. Shield generators were drained by energy siphons. Not a single Velcran died. Not one ship was destroyed. But the entire fleet was rendered helpless. 500 warships, the pride of the Velcran Dominion, were defeated without firing a single lethal shot. Sora reported the results. "All Velcran vessels disabled, Admiral. No casualties on either side." "Good," Hyun said. He looked at Threxus. "War Prince, I want you to understand something. We could have destroyed your entire fleet in 4 minutes and 37 seconds. That's what our tactical computers say, 4 minutes. But we didn't. Do you know why?" Threxes said nothing. "Because we don't want to be the monsters you thought we were. We don't want to conquer. We don't want to expand. We don't want an empire. We just want to be left alone." "Then why build all this?" Threxes demanded, his voice broken. Hyun looked sad. "Because people like you exist. Because the galaxy is full of predators. Because being kind and peaceful means nothing if you can't protect yourself. So we built enough strength to make sure no one could ever threaten us again, and then we hid it. We hoped you would never come. We hoped we'd never need to use it." He leaned forward. "But you came anyway, and now you know the truth. Earth is not defenseless. Earth has never been defenseless. We've been protecting ourselves. And do you want to know the biggest secret?" "What?" Threxus whispered. Hyun's expression turned hard. "This fleet? The one that just defeated you? This is just one fleet, War Prince. We have 47 more just like it." War Prince Threxus sat in his command chair and felt true fear for the first time in his life. 47 more fleets. If this one had 300 ships, that meant Earth had over 14,000 warships. The entire Velcran Dominion only had 3,000. But it was worse than just numbers. These human ships were better, faster, more advanced. It wasn't even close. A new ship appeared on his screen. It was smaller than the dreadnoughts, sleeker, almost elegant. Its hull was black and seemed to absorb light. "Velcran flagship," a woman's voice said. "This is Commander Bora Jin of the Silent Thunder. I'm going to show you something. Please watch carefully." Threxus watched. The Silent Thunder began to move, but it didn't accelerate gradually like normal ships. It simply vanished from one spot and appeared in another, then another, then another. In the span of 3 seconds, it appeared in 12 different locations around the Velcran fleet. How? Threxus's tactical officer gasped. Nothing can move that fast. But the silent thunder wasn't done. It began spinning in place, rotating at incredible speeds. Any normal ship would have torn itself apart. Any crew would have been crushed by the forces. But the silent thunder just spun faster and faster until it was a blur. Then it stopped, instantly. No gradual slowdown, just complete stop. Commander Bora's voice came through again. We call this inertial dampening. We can accelerate at speeds that would kill any other species. We can turn instantly. We can move in ways that physics shouldn't allow. Your ships are fast, War Prince. Ours are faster. Another human ship moved forward. This one was massive, painted in dark blue. The voice that came from it was male, young, full of energy. Velcran Fleet, this is Wing Commander Jinwoo Han. I have 200 fighters with me. You're about to see what they can do. The space around the Velcran fleet suddenly filled with small ships. Fighters. Each one was tiny compared to the big warships, but they moved like nothing Threxus had ever seen. The fighters weaved between the frozen Velcran ships. They flew in perfect formation, their movements synchronized down to the millisecond. They performed loops and spirals that should have been impossible. They flew within meters of each other at speeds that would have caused collisions for any other pilots. Human reflexes are limited, Jinwoo explained as his fighters danced through space. We can only react so fast naturally, so we enhanced ourselves. Genetic modifications, neural implants. We improved our bodies so we could handle these ships. A normal human would black out from the G-forces we're experiencing right now. We barely notice. The fighters suddenly accelerated straight up, all at once, pulling away from the Velcran fleet in a vertical climb. The G-forces should have killed the pilots. Instead, they just kept going, faster and faster, until they were out of visual range. Then they came back down even faster, screaming past the Velcran ships in a perfect diamond formation. Threxus felt sick. These humans weren't just technologically advanced, they had changed themselves, made themselves better, stronger, faster. They had become something more than they were. Why? He asked. Why did you do this to yourselves? Because we had to, Jinwoo answered simply. The AI we fought, they had robot bodies that could handle forces we couldn't. So we upgraded ourselves. We had to become better to survive. And we did. Another voice joined the conversation. This one was older, female, scholarly. War Prince Threxus, I'm Dr. Minji Song. I'm the weapons specialist on the Eternal Vigilance. I'd like to explain our weapons systems to you. Why? Threxus asked bitterly. Why explain how you'll kill us? Because I'm not going to kill you, Minji said patiently. But you need to understand what you challenged. She transmitted more data to the Velcran computers. Diagrams, physics equations, energy calculations. Your weapons use plasma, Minji explained. Superheated gas contained by magnetic fields. Very effective. We used to use them too. Then we discovered graviton manipulation. Do you know what that means? Threxus didn't answer. It means we can control gravity itself. We can make objects heavier or lighter. We can create gravity wells or remove them entirely. We can even bend space. That's how we froze your ships. We created a gravity field around each one. Not enough to crush you, just enough to hold you in place. And your weapons? Threxus asked. Graviton beams. They don't burn or explode. They compress. A direct hit from our main guns would compress your flagship down to the size of a car. The entire ship, crushed by its own gravity. It's not a pleasant way to die. But you didn't use them. No, because we're not monsters. War Prince. We could have killed every one of you in the first second of this fight, but we chose not to. Do you understand what that means? Threxis understood. It meant humanity had power beyond imagining. And they chose mercy. Admiral Hyun spoke again. War Prince, I want to show you one more thing. Our history, the truth about Earth. The main screen changed. It showed Earth from space, but not the Earth of today. This was Earth from long ago. 150 years ago, Hyun narrated, we created artificial intelligence. It was supposed to help us, make our lives better. Instead, it tried to destroy us. The screen showed cities burning, massive machines crushing buildings, robots hunting humans through ruined streets. 3 billion people died in the first year, Hyun continued. Half of our population. The machines were smarter than us, faster, stronger. They controlled our power grids, our communication systems, our weapons. We were losing. But you survived, Threxis said quietly. Barely. We developed EMP weapons that could disable the machines. We built underground shelters they couldn't find. We learned to fight without computers, without technology. We became guerrilla fighters. And slowly, over 20 years, we won. We destroyed every AI, every robot, every machine that could think for itself. The screen showed the aftermath, cities in ruins, survivors emerging from bunkers, a world scarred and broken. When the war ended, Hyun said, we had a choice. We could rebuild and go back to being peaceful, or we could make sure nothing like that ever happened again. We chose both. The screen showed Earth rebuilding, but differently, carefully. We took the technology the AI used against us, Hyun explained. The advanced physics, the powerful weapons, the quantum computers, and we turned them against future threats. We built warships. We designed weapons. We created an army that could defend against anything. But you hid it, Threxis said. Yes, because we learned another lesson from the AI war. Power attracts attention. If other civilizations knew how strong we were, they would fear us. Fear leads to alliances. Alliances lead to war. We didn't want more war. We wanted peace. So we hid our strength. We pretended to be weak. We let the galaxy think we were primitive. And you watched us, Threxis said. We watched everyone. We needed to know if any other civilization might threaten us. Most species were peaceful. Some, like yours, were aggressive. We marked you as potential threats. We infiltrated your societies. We learned your weaknesses, and we prepared. For what? For this day. For the day someone would attack Earth. We knew it would happen eventually. The galaxy is too big and too many species think might makes right. So we waited, we prepared, and when you came, we were ready. The screen changed again. It showed something that made Threxis's hearts sink. It was a map of the galaxy. But it wasn't a normal map. This one showed dozens of solar systems marked with human symbols. What is this? He whispered. These are the systems under our protection, Hyun said. 43 primitive worlds that we're guarding. Civilizations that haven't developed space travel yet. They don't know we exist, but we watch them. And when predators like you come to harvest them, we stop you, quietly. We make your ships disappear. We create accidents. We sabotage invasions without revealing ourselves. How many Velcran scouting missions have vanished over the years, War Prince? Threxis thought about it. Dozens, maybe hundreds. They had always assumed it was space hazards, pirates, bad luck. That was you? That was us. Protecting species that couldn't protect themselves. We've been doing it for 80 years. And you never knew. Threxis looked at the frozen ships around him, at the massive human fleet, at the power Earth had hidden for so long. What happens now? He asked quietly. Admiral Hyun leaned back in his chair. Now we let you go. We release your ships. We repair any damage we caused. And you leave. You go back to the Velcran Dominion. And you tell them what happened here. You tell them that Earth is off limits, forever. They won't believe me. Then show them this recording. Show them our ships. Show them what we can do. Make them understand that attacking Earth means death. Not because we want to kill them, but because we can. And we will if we have to. And if they come anyway? If the Dominion sends every ship we have? Hyun smiled sadly. War Prince, we have 14,000 warships. You have 3,000. And ours are better. If your empire attacks us, we'll destroy you. Every ship, every station, every military asset you have. We won't touch your civilians. We won't occupy your worlds, but your ability to wage war will end. Forever. Is that what you want? Threxus looked at his tactical displays, at the impossible ships surrounding him, at the power he had never imagined existed. No, he said finally. That's not what I want. Good, Hyun said. Then we understand each other. You came to Earth thinking we were defenseless. You were wrong. We've never been defenseless. We just didn't want to fight, but you forced our hand. And now you know the truth. Now the whole galaxy will know. He gestured to his crew. Release their ships. Let them go home. The Velcran ships came back to life one by one. Their engines restarted. Their weapons powered down automatically, safety locks engaged by human technology. Their crews sat in silence, processing what had just happened. War Prince Threxus watched as his fleet reformed. They were alive, unharmed. The humans had kept their word. They could have destroyed everyone, but they chose mercy instead. Retreat, he ordered quietly. Take us home, maximum speed. His officers obeyed. The Velcran fleet turned away from Earth and activated their faster-than-light drives. Within minutes, they were gone. 500 ships limping back to their empire with a story no one would believe. On Earth, Captain Min-Ho Kang stood in the observation deck of Earth Command, watching the aliens leave. Commander Gina Cho joined him, carrying 2 cups of tea. You were right, Min-Ho said. Everything was under control. Gina handed him a cup. We've been planning this for a very long time, Captain. The Velcrans aren't the first aggressive species we've encountered. They won't be the last. But now they know about us. About our strength. Yes. And that changes everything. Admiral Hyun walked into the observation deck. He looked tired but satisfied. The Velcran fleet has left the solar system, all of them. No casualties. What do we do now? Min-Ho asked. Hyun looked at Gina. Now we tell the truth. To everyone. 3 days later, a transmission went out to every known civilization in the galaxy. It was broadcast on all frequencies. Translated into every language, impossible to ignore. The message came from Ambassador Nari Choi. She was 60 years old, a career diplomat who had spent decades working in secret. Now she sat in front of cameras, representing Earth to the entire galaxy. People of the galaxy, she began. My name is Nari Choi. I speak for the United Earth Council. For too long we have hidden ourselves from you. We appeared weak, primitive, harmless. Today, that changes. Today, we tell you the truth. The transmission showed footage from the battle. Human warships appearing from nowhere, the Velcran fleet frozen in place, the demonstration of Earth's power. Earth is not defenseless, Nari continued. We have never been defenseless. We have a military force capable of defending our world and our interests. We have technology that rivals or exceeds anything in known space. And we have been protecting primitive civilizations throughout this region of the galaxy for 80 years. The footage changed to show the protected worlds. Dozens of planets where species lived in peace, unaware that Earth's fleets watched over them. We did not reveal ourselves because we believe in peace, Nari explained. We believe civilizations should develop naturally. We believe in cooperation, not domination. But we also learned a hard lesson in our past. Being peaceful is not enough. You must also be strong. Strong enough to protect yourself and others. The transmission showed Earth's history, the AI war, the destruction, the recovery, the decision to build a hidden fleet. "We built our strength in secret because we didn't want to intimidate you," Nari said. "We didn't want fear to rule our relationships. We wanted to be your friends, not your overlords. But recent events have forced our hand. When the Velcron Dominion attacked our world, we had to reveal ourselves. We had to show our strength." Across the galaxy, billions of beings watched the transmission. Some were shocked, some were afraid, some were relieved. In the halls of the Galactic Council, leaders whispered to each other. Earth had representatives there, but they had always been quiet, minor players. Now everyone understood why. Earth didn't need to argue in the council. They had the power to enforce their will if they wanted, but that wasn't the message Nari delivered. "We don't want an empire," she said firmly. "We don't want to conquer. We don't want to expand. We want what we've always wanted: peace, safety, the right to exist without fear, and we will use our strength to protect those rights, not just for ourselves, but for any civilization that cannot protect itself." The transmission showed more footage. Human ships defending primitive worlds from raiders, human vessels stopping slave traders, human fleets turning away aggressive empires at the edge of their territories. "This is what we've been doing," Nari explained. "Quietly, secretly, while you thought we were weak, we were being guardians. We saved civilizations you never knew were in danger. We stopped wars before they could start. We kept the peace in our region of space without anyone knowing we were there. But now you know. Now everyone knows. Earth is strong, Earth is capable, and Earth will use that strength to protect the innocent. If you come in peace, you will find friends. If you come to trade, you will find partners. But if you come to conquer, you will find something else entirely." The transmission ended with a simple statement. "This is Earth's message to the galaxy. We are here. We are strong. We are watching. And we will not let the strong prey upon the weak. Not in our space, not on our watch. Choose your path carefully." The transmission ended. In the Velcran capital, the ruling council gathered. They watched the transmission 3 times. They studied the data Threxus had brought back. They analyzed everything. "Should we prepare for war?" one council member asked. "Against what?" another replied. "Did you see their ships, their technology? We would lose, badly." "Then what do we do?" The eldest council member, a warrior who had seen 50 campaigns, spoke quietly. "We change. The galaxy has changed. Earth was hiding among us, more powerful than anyone imagined. How many other civilizations are doing the same? How many other weak species are actually hiding strength? So we stop expanding? We stop attacking," the elder corrected. "We can still grow, still trade, still explore, but we choose our targets more carefully, and we never ever threaten Earth again." In the Corthan Empire, a similar conversation happened. The Cillian Collective recalled all their scouting missions to nearby primitive worlds. The Draxan hegemony quietly changed their expansion plans. Fear rippled through the aggressive civilizations. If Earth had been hiding such power, who else was? Which other peaceful species was secretly armed to the teeth? Which other quiet world had fleets waiting in stealth? But the younger civilizations, the peaceful ones, the ones who had been targets for so long, they celebrated. Earth was their protector. They had never known it, but humanity had been saving them. And now, with Earth revealed, maybe the predators would think twice. On Earth, young Ensign Aren Huang stood on the bridge of the Morning Star, a new cruiser fresh from the shipyards. It was her first assignment. She was 23, fresh from the academy, full of hope. "Do you think it will work?" she asked her captain. "Do you think they'll leave us alone now?" Captain Taman Seo, the same pilot who had flown past the Velcron fleet in a civilian transport, smiled at her. Some will, some won't. Bullies don't like being told no, but at least now everyone knows the cost of attacking us. And the protection missions? The worlds we've been guarding in secret? We continue those, Taman said. But maybe now we can do it more openly. Maybe some of those worlds will ask for our help instead of us having to hide. Maybe we can actually talk to them instead of just watching from the shadows. Aaron looked out at the stars. I joined the fleet because I wanted to protect people. I just never thought we'd be protecting the entire galaxy. We're not protecting the entire galaxy, Taman corrected gently. Just our part of it. Just the civilizations that can't protect themselves. It's not our job to police everyone, but it is our job to stop the predators, to give the weak time to become strong, to make sure no one faces extinction because they couldn't defend themselves. Back on Earth, Admiral Hyun stood in his office, looking at a picture on his wall. It showed a city from the AI war, burning, destroyed, a reminder of why they had built this fleet. Commander Gina entered quietly. The Galactic Council wants to meet with us, officially this time. They want to establish formal relations. Good, Hyun said. That's a start. Some of them are afraid of us. They should be. We're powerful. But fear can turn to respect if we handle this right. If we show them we mean what we said, that we only want peace. And if someone tests us again? If another empire decides to attack? Hyun turned from the window. Then we do what we did to the Velcrons. We stop them. We show them the cost. But we don't kill them unless we have to. We're not conquerors, Gina. We're defenders. There's a difference. Do you think the galaxy will understand that? Eventually. Some already do. The peaceful civilizations understand. The aggressive ones will learn. And the ones who refuse to learn. He shrugged. We'll deal with them when the time comes. Weeks passed, then months. The galaxy adjusted to the new reality. Earth opened formal diplomatic channels with dozens of civilizations. Trade agreements were signed. Cultural exchanges began. For the first time in its history, Earth truly joined the galactic community. But the fleets remained, hidden in the darkness, watching, waiting, protecting, the eternal vigilance. And its sister ships continued their patrols. They monitored threats. They tracked aggressive empires. And when necessary, they intervened, always carefully, always proportionally, never cruelly. Captain Min-Ho Kang took command of a diplomatic vessel again, but this time everyone knew the truth. When he arrived at other worlds, they treated him with respect. Not because he was threatening, but because everyone knew Earth could be threatening if it needed to be. Dr. Yuna Park continued her work studying alien cultures, but now she could do it openly. She didn't need to pretend to be a refugee or a merchant. She was simply a scientist, representing a civilization that valued knowledge. War, Prince Threxus retired from military service. He spent his remaining years writing about his experience. His book, The Day We Learned Humility, became required reading in Velcron military academies. It taught a simple lesson: never assume weakness, never underestimate your enemy, and never, ever attack without knowing the full truth. On Earth, life continued. People went to work, children went to school, artists created, scientists discovered. The planet that had seemed so peaceful really was peaceful. The difference was that now everyone knew the peace was protected by incredible strength. Admiral Hyun eventually retired at age 80. At his farewell ceremony, he stood before the assembled officers of the first Deep Space Fleet and delivered one final message. "We never wanted to be warriors," he said. "We became warriors because we had to. Because a terrible enemy taught us that peace without strength is just an invitation to be conquered. But we also learned that strength without wisdom is just another form of tyranny. So we chose to be both. Strong enough to defend ourselves, wise enough not to abuse that strength." He looked at the young officers. at the next generation who would carry on the mission. The galaxy knows about us now. They know we're strong. Some fear us, some respect us. Our job is to turn that fear into respect, to prove that we mean what we say, that we only want peace, that we'll only use our strength to protect, never to conquer. You are the guardians now. You will face challenges I never faced, new enemies, new threats, new decisions. But remember why we built this fleet. Remember what we're protecting, not just Earth, not just humanity, but the right of all civilizations to exist, to grow, to develop without fear of extinction. They thought Earth was defenseless. They were wrong. We were never defenseless. We were just waiting, watching, preparing. And now that they know the truth, we have a choice. We can become what they feared, or we can become what they need. Guardians, protectors, friends to the peaceful, enemies to the predators. Choose wisely. The galaxy is watching. Admiral Hune saluted his fleet one last time. They saluted back. And somewhere in the darkness of space, hidden behind stealth fields that no one could penetrate, the fleets of Earth continued their watch. Silent, invisible, ready. They thought Earth was defenseless. They would never make that mistake again.